welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer, and today we're gonna do a favorites and fails video. It's gonna be slightly different than I've done it in the past. I haven't done one since best and worst of 2020, so it was the end of December. So it's now basically towards the end of February, so I've got about 6 to 7 weeks of stuff to discuss with you all. And so what I thought I would do is, usually I already have all the makeup on and I go through the products. Today I'm gonna put the makeup on. We're gonna talk about the different categories as I do it. So if you're interested in seeing what my favorites and fails are for the last 2 months or so, just stay tuned. Hey everyone, as I mentioned in my intro, today is a favorites and fails video. I am gonna be doing sort of a get ready with me, a little bit. Talking about the different categories as we put them on, and I'll tell you about the products that I've picked up over the last couple of weeks and what my thoughts are. So let me pull back my hair really quickly, and we'll put on the Gorlon Watery Oil. I have been using this pretty much exclusively since I picked up the large bottle in the Sephora sale. So when was that? November? I have the Augustinus Batter Victoria Beckham primer, which I do like. I do. I think it's a good primer. It's very moisturizing. I also have the Bobbi Brown, which I think is good. It's a good moisturizing primer. But I think this one gives me a little bit of a glow that I really like. It has fast become a just whatever. It's the only thing I use. So foundation. I don't have any new foundations that I've picked up in the last 2 months. I have picked up a lot of foundations before that, the end of last year. And so I'm going to use today the Chanel Sublimage, because my understanding is that the Sublimage should be out very, very soon. I'm not absolutely sure when this video will go up, but I think it will go up right around the time that the Sublimage is released in the US. I've mentioned this foundation ad nauseum. It is a really good foundation. I really like it. I think it's excellent for more mature and dry skin. If you were to ask if it's my favorite foundation, you know, it's so hard to say. I think my favorite is the By Terry Denseless, but that's not only just because of the formula. The By Terry Denseless foundation I really love, and I think the formula is actually very similar to this. It kind of gives a nice glow, it gives a nice uplifting look, and I really, really like it. I think the reason the By Terry is my favorite is because of the shade. The Chanel shade BR12 is the right shade for me in the limited shade range that Chanel has. The By Terry foundation is a better shade match for me. Interestingly enough, the By Terry foundation has fewer shades than the Chanel. Just saying. But there is a shade, there are actually 2 shades that work extremely well for me. In the Chanel, I am a BR12. I've looked at all different shades. Trust me, I used to work for Chanel. Shades haven't changed. The shade range is limited. They've gotten better, but there's still a limited shade range. So the BR12 is the best match, and it does work on my skin. It does, like, once I put on bronzer, it looks fine, but it's a little light, and I think that's why I like the By Terry better. But in regards to formulation, this is my favorite. I just think it looks really beautiful on the skin. It feels phenomenal. And if you can find the exact match for your skin tone, I wouldn't recommend anything higher. So this is the little brush that comes with it. It's a great little brush. I've used it. I mentioned it before. Okay, so I'm gonna do my brows off camera really quickly. I'm just gonna use the Gucci pencil. This is the Gucci pencil at this point. It's very, very tiny. I would have a new one already, but I'm gonna be doing, you'll see it, it's in a video coming up about Sephora, so I'm gonna be buying it there. But I'll do this off camera, be right back. Okay, brows are done. So Gucci pencil is still my favorite. Don't think that's a shock to anybody. So let's talk about powder. So really the 3 collections that I picked up the Gorlon, I picked up the Chanel, and I picked up the Tom Ford. Those were the Well, actually 4. Sorry, there's Suku as well. So those are the items that I picked up. I picked up a few things from Pat McGrath, 2 things in particular, and a little bit of things here and there. So let's talk about the Gorlon first. The Gorlon were the 2 lipsticks, the sheer lipsticks in the cases. I love those. Those are beautiful. I think they're exactly like all the Gorlon lipsticks. They perform well. They're very, very sheer, the colors that I picked up, and the cases are gorgeous, so I love those. But I think the highlight of the collection and what everybody's been talking about are the Meteorites. And I have Pink Pearl and Pearl Glow. So I will use the Pink Pearl today as blush, and I'll use the Pearl Glow at the end to sort of, as a finishing powder to buff everything out. But I think the Pink Pearl has been kind of the, you know, the thing that everyone's talking about. It's a beautiful blush. As a blush, I think it's stunning. It looks really beautiful on the skin. It's very glowy because it's, you know, a glowing powder, and it's the first Gorlon Meteorites that's come out that's really very, in my opinion, very different from the other. I have always liked the Meteorites. I think I've liked the Meteorites since I've started using them. I think they're beautiful. The scent is gorgeous, but they're basically all the same. I say this in another video. I'm not sure if it's going to go up after this or before it, but they're not that drastically different. There are a few that were more like bronzy, and those are different, but for the most part, there's just subtle differences. The Pink Pearl, though, is very different, and is very, I mean, it's blush. It really is. So we'll use that today so you guys can see it. In fact, I'm gonna put it on first before I put my bronzer and before I put the highlighter on, because I think you need to see it like on bare skin to really understand like why it's so different. So first of all, here's like the pad that goes at the top of it, little sponge. You can see it's pink with the dust from these pearls. So it's just, it's very clearly, I don't know if it was meant to be blush, but to me, that's how I'm always gonna use it. So let's use the Chikuhodo. This is the KZ03 cheek and highlight brush. It's kind of, it looks a little bit like the Inoshige brush from Sonia G. It has that kind of shape to it. And I'm just gonna kind of pounce here a little bit, and then very lightly, we're gonna go very lightly, but then I will like build it up a little bit, and you can see what a beautiful blush it is. Now, it is not super pigmented because, again, it's kind of meant to be a highlighting powder, all over face powder, or at least that's what the other Meteorites are. But this, in my opinion, works best as a blush, especially if you're fair skinned. I did try this as an all over powder for my face, and I couldn't, it didn't look right. No matter how light I went in, it just made me look kind of sunburnt. It just wasn't like, it just looked like my rosacea was acting up. It didn't really look good. I guess if I went in, I guess I could have tried to go even lighter, but I just don't think it would have worked. So the way I use this blush, a little differently than I use some blushes, I kind of go more on the apples of my cheeks here, because I think this type of pink lends itself to that, almost like a, you know, like happy cheeks kind of look, like a flushed look. A lot of times when I use blush, I'll put it up higher and just kind of keep it up here. But with this, I kind of put it like on the apples of my cheek. I think it gives me like a kind of a glow and a little bit of a glow under my eye, which I think is a really nice look. So you can use it any way you want, but I really do think it's blush in the way that at least the way I'm always gonna use it. It's gonna be blush. Okay, so bronzer. Did I get no. So I didn't have any other new bronzers the first 2 months. So I'm gonna use, this is Chanel Le Beige's in Sunset. This is the powder that I was talking about, the Healthy Glow Illuminating Powder on my community page. And this was available, or is available, on Selfridges. Now, the thing about Selfridges and Chanel, they don't ship to the United States. They ship other places. They don't ship to the United States. So if you're interested in it, and it is a really gorgeous bronzing powder on my skin tone, and probably, you know, up to like light medium skin tone, because it's like glowy. If you're interested in it, Tavia at Chic Profile Official, she has a like a private shopping service that I've used, and you can get it from her. Other than that, I have not seen it on US sites. I know that it has been very popular and that it sold out, and so there's a lighter shade of this, which I also have. I think it's called Sand. If it does come out in the US or on any sites that ship to the US, I will let you all know. I'm keeping a very close eye, but at the moment, I've only seen it on Selfridges. Okay, so highlighter. I did get a couple of new highlighters. The Natasha Denona, the Love Palette. Oh, I picked up the Natasha Denona too. The Natasha Denona Love Palette. The Mini Love eyeshadow palette, I absolutely adore. It's beautiful. Love it. So that's definitely a favorite. The cheek palette is not my favorite. The blush is like that cream blush. It's a little too pink for me. And the highlighter, although pretty, is a little too shiny for me. But the eyeshadow palette I love. The pencil in Ilona and the lipstick in Amorosa, gorgeous. Love them both. And I picked up the Pat McGrath, the Eternal Eden, the eyeshadow palette, and the highlighter. The eyeshadow palette is beautiful. It's really pretty. It's a very pink look. If you don't like pink, you won't like it, but it is beautiful. I did a whole video on it. I wouldn't say it's a favorite just because it's not my color story necessarily, but the formula and the way that it looks on the eye is stunning. Absolutely beautiful. Of the two, of the Love Palette or Eternal Eden, I would pick the Love Palette, but that's because it's more it's a little less pink and more, it's got like more purple. But again, that's a preference thing. It has nothing to do with formula. Okay, so this highlighter, I'm gonna use the Sonia G Mini Base because I just think this is actually kind of nice for highlighter if you want to like make it specific. This is the Divine Rose, and I've done some videos on this, and what I would say is that I think the Divine Rose highlighter is more of a champagne gold, and that the champagne gold highlighter that Pat McGrath came out with at the holidays is more of a Divine Rose. And what I mean by that is the shades. The champagne gold one that came out for the holidays, I think that looks more pink. And I think this one looks more champagne gold. That's my thoughts. I think they're both beautiful. I really like the highlighter. I think it's stunning on. It's, you know, Pat McGrath quality. It's very, very pretty. And I think you'll love it if you buy it. But again, I don't think it's as pink as the champagne gold one that came out for the holidays. Odd, I know, but it is what it is. And again, these are just my thoughts. You don't have to agree with them. This is what I think. Okay, so let's see. Let's now move to the Chanel. I picked up the spring collection, which was not available. The eyeshadow palettes were not available here in the US. And I picked up the La Blanc collection. And of that collection, the things that were my favorite, the lip products were excellent. And I'll use one of the lip products today. The eyeliners were great. Absolutely love them. The Beige Pearl and the Burgundy. And I also picked up the quad from the La Blanc and the quads from the spring palette. So far, I've only used the Golden Amber. I haven't done the Golden Meadow, and I haven't done the Amber one, the Amber Bouquet yet. So I don't want to talk about the Amber Bouquet, but I will say the Golden Meadow is not a favorite of mine. It's okay. So don't feel like you're missing out on anything because it didn't come to the US. And the LeBlanc one, which is the Allure Eclat, it's very pretty, but honestly, it's only gonna work, in my opinion, on people who are fair. So it's only gonna work on someone like me. And even then, there's not a lot of pigment there. If you're looking for something that's like an everyday look and it's very, very light and shimmery and beautiful, that's awesome. Or if you're paler than me, then it's amazing. But it's not pigmented. It just isn't. And it's a little bit different. Like, I was gonna pull out the Elemental quad from Chanel the other day, and it's kind of funny because Just Glow Firefight like literally just did a look with that. And it's a beautiful everyday kind of quad. But it has some pigment to it. It has, I mean, it's a neutral, absolutely, and it's an everyday, absolutely. But it has more pigment than this does. So just, you know, something to keep in mind if you're thinking about it. Okay, so this is the highlighter stick. That's what I'm calling it. The Balm Essential. This is Printanier, and this is very much like the Gucci, the Westman Atelier products, the highlighters that they have. They have one, Westman Atelier has one that is clear stick, like the pearl one that also came in the LeBlanc collection. And here's what I have to say. I really like this stick. I really like the Printanier one, especially. I think it's really pretty. And I think it gives a really nice glow to the skin. And comparing it to the Westman Atelier, I think they give the same level of glow. So that I think is about the same. The thing is though, with the Chanel's, and I say this as someone who has very dry skin, it took like 5 hours for it to finally dissipate into my skin. That's a really long time. Nothing stays dewy or glowy on me, ever. So I'm gonna guess that if you have oily skin, this will probably not work for you. Now, maybe it's just me. Maybe on everybody else it sinks right in, but it took a really long time. And I tried the clear one, the pearl one, and this Printanier one, and I went like different days, and I tried it without any foundation. I tried it on top of foundation. It still takes a really long time to sink in. So if you have really dry skin, that's not necessarily bad, because it didn't feel bad to me. It actually felt fine. It didn't feel tacky. It just felt kind of like still like, I don't know, like you had moisturizer on kind of feel. It didn't feel sticky. It just, you know, I was like, oh, my face is still kind of. So for me, it was okay. But one, if you hate that feel, you're not gonna like it. Two, if you have oily skin, I think it would be a problem. So for me, it's not a favorite because I don't feel like I could recommend it to just everybody, but I do really like it. So I just want to put that out there with those caveats, because it's not that I don't like it, I do, but I just don't think it's gonna work for everyone. And even people with dry skin, a lot of people don't want to have like a feeling of, not wetness, but you know what I mean? Like when you put moisturizer on, it hasn't sunk in yet, that kind of feel, for 4 or 5 hours, because it stayed that way for a while. So I just want to be honest. Okay, so then we'll move to Suku. And Suku had their new signature eye shades. They had new lip fogs, and they had new eyeliners. I did not pick up the eyeliners. I did pick up a couple of the lip fogs. They are fabulous. I love the lip fog formula. I especially love the glow formula. Really, it's amazing. And I'm actually gonna do an upcoming video where it's all Suku. I'm gonna do the foundation, and I might try to pick up the Suku primer and lip liner and everything. So I'm not gonna do that today, but if you pick up things from Suku, I love the brand. It's probably my favorite new brand. I mean, it's just, everything I've tried from them I love. I've done, I think 4 or 5, I don't remember now, of the eyeshadow quads. I have 2 more to go, and I will do dedicated videos to them. And it's number 05 and 06 that I haven't done. So yeah, there are 7. I've done 5 of them. Math. So yeah, I've done 5 of them. I have 2 more to go. And if you look through the videos, I love each one of the quads is just uniquely beautiful. So if you're picking up their eye quads, they're definite favorites. Absolutely. The lip fogs, definite favorites. I have not picked up the eyeliners, so I can't comment on that. And then last but not least is Tom Ford. So, and there's one other thing that I'll throw in here. Tom Ford had 2 new quads, and then they had Body Heat come out in pink packaging and red packaging, but not, at first, not in the US. Pink packaging is now available on Sephora, and there's lipsticks that are in the pink packaging and a bunch of other things. And I did a whole video with all the pink packaging products. So that's Body Heat. Love Body Heat. Absolutely, definitely a favorite. Hands down, a huge favorite. Like, love it. But I also want to say that the Insolent Rose and the Desert Fox, and I did videos with these, I really, really like them. And the more I play around with them, the more I like them. So this is the Insolent Rose. And again, it's not real. I know people will be like, well, that's not really your color story. And it's true, it's not. But it's a really beautiful look. It's very elegant on the eye. I really am enjoying it. I think it looks really pretty for spring. I just really like it. I'm surprised at how much I like it, but I really do. And the other is Desert Fox, which was like an instant favorite, classic for me. It is not the wet dry formula, it's more like powdery, but I love the color story. What I would say though is it's not really spring. I admit, it's definitely not. But, you know, not everything has to be pinks and peaches. Like this is definitely gonna be more of like a, I think, fall look for me, but I still love it. So it's definitely a favorite, and I cannot recommend it more. If you like warm color stories, you're gonna love it, I promise. So what I'm gonna do today, just for the eye look, because I don't, like I said, I don't wanna spend a lot of time, I am just gonna go, if I can find my brush. I have a lot of great brushes. I'm gonna go in with my FO5, yeah, FO5, this is Chikuhodo brush. I actually bought a bunch of brushes, but none of them are gonna be here for a while because there was a huge storm. Maybe you guys heard about that. Oh, actually I do wanna mention, and while talking about the storm, the Tom Ford Emotion Proof eye primer. Love this, absolutely love it. I've mentioned it a couple times. I'm using it every time. Absolutely on my favorite list. I don't think it's gonna extend the wear of your eyeshadow. That's not really what my issue was. My issue is more, I need a smooth surface, and I'm trying to protect my eyes, if you will. Like a lot of times, it sounds weird, but if you have very sensitive eyelids, skin, if you put down a barrier, if you put some shadow on it or something that might be irritating or staining, you have kind of like a barrier to your eye. At least that's the way I was thinking of it, and that has worked really well for me. So that's kind of how I've been using it. So anyway, so I'm gonna go into the lightest shade in the Body Heat, and I'm just gonna put it all over the eye. This brush is a great like sweep on your eye kind of brush, because yes, it gives you like really simple, easy, like one stroke thing, but it is tapered enough, if you see the brush, that when you want to get into like the corner of your eye, like the inner corner, so that it doesn't just like go all over the place, you can do that. You see what I mean? Like you can go like this, so that it's a broad sweep of color, but it's still targeted and you don't have it all over your face, which is, you know, which is good. I can see this like fast becoming one of my favorite all over the eye shadows, because, and I mentioned this in my Westman Atelier video that went up, I guess it will be like a week at this point, but I often go out with just like one color on my eyes. There are many days that I don't wear makeup, or if I do wear makeup, it's very light makeup. So having a shade like this one is just like a wash of color, but it's beautiful. And I could just throw on some mascara. I just think it's stunning. So let me show you what that looks like a little bit closer. It's a beautiful shade. And you could wear it if you're pale skin like myself, or a deeper skin tone. It would be more of a contrast, but it's just a beautiful shade. And it's like shimmery, but not glittery. It's just very elegant, and I really like it. And then, as I mentioned, I got the Chanel eyeliner, Kohl liners. This is in the beige pearl. These eyeliners I think are awesome. I think they're great eyeliners. This shade is particularly pretty. I think it works for like everyday kind of look. So I'll line my eyes with this, and then we'll go to mascara. And what I like to do with the Kohl pencils is go in with like a pencil brush and kind of smudge it out a little bit. Kohl pencils are great for that. You know, you don't want to wait too long because they will set down. But if you go in once you put them on, you can smudge out a look really easily. And I think, personally, it's just really flattering I think it's just really flattering to a more mature eye. So, the harsh line can be, there's nothing wrong with it, but I just think sometimes it can be a little much. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to curl my lashes and put on mascara. I don't have a new mascara. I have not tried one. There's a couple that I've been hearing about. Bite Beauty, Lancome, I think is it Lancome? Idol or something like that? There's been a few, but if there's some mascaras you'd like me to try, let me know down below. But like I said, there's a couple that I've seen that I'm kind of putting on the list. Okay, so this is the eye look. I've got, like I said, all I did was that one lighter shade from Body Heat and the pearl, beige pearl liner from Chanel. I think it's a beautiful look. It's simple. I mean, I've got a little bit of mascara right there, but it's a simple look, and it didn't take me very long, but it's three things. It's one shade from Body Heat, it's beige pearl from Chanel liner, and some mascara. That's it. And that's the Over Curl Mascara by Dior, which I now have to get another one of. That one is, I think that one's toast now. So, two things left. One is lipstick, and as I mentioned, I'm gonna use one of the Chanel LeBlancs from the LeBlanc collection. The Lip Fogs from Suku, I'm gonna be doing that in an all Suku video, but I do absolutely love those. Those are on my favorite list. They're excellent. But one other thing I wanna mention, and there's gonna be the Meteorites at the end. This is the Charlotte Tilbury, and this is not a new product by any means. This is the under eye corrector, and I have it in the number 1, which is the fair shade, and I like to put it on at the end. I feel like for me, that way, you know, I've swept up any like under eye, you know, powder, any eyeshadow that I've had to, you know, I've had to fix, any of that, like I can go back in at the end and add this. And I really feel like it's correcting. Like I have it, like I said, in the fair shade, which is more of a peachy pink. But I think it does help with a little bit of the deepness that I have. You know, my eyes are relatively deep set, so I have sort of wells under here. That's not really an age thing, to be honest. I've always had that. So I think that does help. I don't usually use corrector concealer because it dries out my skin. This does not make my dry skin any worse. I'm not gonna say it makes it better, because it doesn't, but it doesn't dry it out even further. And I have very dry skin. In the winter, it's ridiculous. Right now, it's really bad. I have humidifiers going. Honestly, it's just really dry. I don't know what else to say. We just keep getting more and more snow, so it is what it is. But anyway, not to bemoan that. We won't go into that. So, but I really do like it, and I think it's an excellent concealer. Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, so last step before lipstick, and I like to do this before the lipstick because I don't want to put it on over the lipstick. These are the Pro Glow Meteorites. I'm using the Sonia G Face one. There's also I think it's the mini buffer that's smaller, and if you were just doing the cheeks, I would use that. But because I'm gonna actually do my whole face with this, I'm using the bigger one. So the way I do this is I kind of stamp like that, and then buff it in, like all over, but I concentrate in the areas that I want the most, not shine, but luminescence, where I want the most luminescence. And then I just buff. I don't go in too hard. There we go. And you can see it gives a beautiful like luminescence to the skin. It just makes everything look flawless and beautiful, and the scent is just amazing. The scent does linger for quite some time, so if you don't like scent, or you're allergic or very, very sensitive, or you hate the smell of violets, don't buy it. Like really seriously. It's not like other products where there's scent but, you know, dissipates. This does not dissipate. It takes a long time. You smell this for, at least I do, for a while. I have a very good sense of smell, so I smell things. I can usually smell things that other people don't necessarily smell, but it's really strong. So I want to really emphasize that, because scent is fragrance is a big deal. A lot of people have some real problems with it. So I just want to be really clear that the Meteorites are not for you if you don't like scent. All right, so this is the Tendresse Rouge Coco in $4.96. It is a very light, light in shade, pink lipstick. Perfect for spring. It looks really good with the Natasha Denona Love palette, the Pat McGrath Eternal Eden palette, with the Suku palettes that came out, the Tom Ford Insolent Rose. This is a great choice for that. It looks good with all of those. So if you picked any of those up and you want to pick up one of the Chanel lipsticks, I really think that the Tendresse is an excellent one. I am a huge fan of Chanel lipsticks. I think they are beautiful. I like practically all of them. I like the lacs, I like the sheers, I like the velvet. I like all the Chanel lipsticks for the most part. There's some formulas I haven't liked, but anyway, I really do. So I would say that they are definite favorites. The Rouge Coco glosses are my favorite formula. I just think they're really fun, and they're just gloss. They're glossy and they just look pretty. They are not a good choice for right now, because you can't wear that under a mask. Well, you can, but it's kind of come right off. So again, these aren't, I wouldn't say they're matte formulas or that they're all day formulas. They're not. The Ultra Tenues from Chanel, as I've mentioned, absolutely are. And I hear there's new shades coming out in those. So very excited about that. So I think that's everything that was on my favorites and fails. Like I said, I don't really have any fails because I did pick up only, I forgot one thing. This, the Club Nebula palette. This is by Kaleidos, and this is not, I am absolutely dedicated to luxury and high-end beauty, and I always will be, because that is where my love is. But I do think there are indie brands out there, like Sydney Grace, for example, that do really good work, and I have great products. And I think this Kaleidos product, this Club Nebula, is beautiful. I really have liked it. I've been playing around with it. Is it my typical color story? No, it's not. It's very pigmented, and the shades in here can be maybe a little outlandish to some people, but it's fun. It's just a lot of fun. And guys, it's been about a year now that I've been kind of locked in my house, and I'm absolutely not complaining, but something fun is a good thing. So I'm very, very happy to have this, and I want to say thank you to Kaleidos for making it, and Angelica Nyquist for creating this particular palette. But I just really do think it's beautiful. It is a favorite. I love it, and I'm going to be incorporating it into other looks, because I think there are shades in here that maybe not everyone would feel comfortable using every day, but you could certainly incorporate it into something else. So anyway, I really, really like it. It's definitely a favorite. Fails, as I was saying, the only fail really is I don't particularly like the Chanel iQuad, the LeBlanc one, and the Golden Meadow one. They're okay. They're fine. They're not bad. That's why I'm saying it's not really a fail. But, luxury makeup is very, very expensive. And I kind of believe it should be amazing. Like, your experience should be like, this is amazing. From the packaging to the product to the customer service. If you're spending that kind of money, you shouldn't have something where you just go, oh, it's okay. Because there's lots of products out there you can get for a lot cheaper that are just okay. So that's why I consider them fails. It's what I'm holding them up to. The one thing I didn't mention, and I realize it as I'm saying it, is the new Christian Dior quads, quints. The reason I didn't mention it is because I have a Christian Dior ranking video going up, and I have spent a tremendous amount of time on that video and ranking all of the quints. And I know it sounds crazy, but it was actually really hard for me to do, and it took a lot of time. So I didn't want to mention them in this and saying whether they are favorites or fails, because that might kind of give away where I rank them in the video. So I would say this, overall, the Christian Dior Quints are favorites, absolutely. And the new 3, the Blooming Bouquet, the Pink Sakura, and the Wild Brown, I will have my thoughts on those on the Christian Dior ranking video that either has just gone up or will go up soon. So that's what I got for you there. Yeah, that was, I'll be honest with you guys, I hate doing those. I see why they're valuable, but it's just, you know, it's real. I don't know why it's so hard for me to rank them, but I just had a really tough time. I just think they're all very unique and very different, and it doesn't mean one's better than the other, but I get why you'd want, I mean, I get it. I understand. So anyway, it's done. It's either already up or going up soon. Okay, so that's it. I don't have any new skincare to talk about. I've been using the same products. I'm very particular about skincare. I've mentioned that before. I was gonna do a daytime skincare video at the end of the year, and things got too crazy and I didn't do it. So I will probably be doing that soon. I'm sure you've seen, if you've been following me on Instagram and here, Retrove is probably my newest favorite. Their intensive moisturizer and their eye cream, it's pretty impressive, I gotta say, guys. Like, really, it's really good. But other than that, like I said, the video will be coming soon. So I think that's it today, guys. I think those are my favorites and fails for January and February. Hopefully that was helpful. Yeah, I'm enjoying a lot of the new products and becoming more and more comfortable with pink. So, you know, that's good, since that seems to be like every color story these days. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in another video really soon.